Yoru is one of Valorant's worst agents.
They've also got the denial of the pushback in. The Nano Swarm gonna hold them back even further, and this map is looking done.
Well, Vikings have got to go back to the drawing board on that. We've seen the first Yoru come out here in Masters, and maybe the last, based on how it played out.
There are teams that tried to make Yoru work, but nobody ever succeeded with him.
Oh, what the? How did I not see him?
But there was one team who saw Yoru's true potential, and one player who managed to do the impossible.
The ult's out of Forsaken, confirming exactly where he is. He hears the steps, the flash is hell. Oh, Meadow gets away with the first. Forsaken has to take him down, and he does. A fourth kill for this man. Not even blinded up. That operator now ready to take them down. The shot's missed though. A lifeline perhaps, and they've caught him on the way out. The flash is perfect. The decoy was popped and they shot it. They know that they're coming. Forsaken with another kill, and Bankai tucked in the corner. How does Forsaken get away with that? He was so low, and a third is found as well. That's utterly unreasonable. Seekers confirming the players are still in here. Mind Freaks picked up another. This is starting to look like it's done. How has Evolva gotten away with that? But the answer is immediate. Meadow, the last man standing's taken down, and APAC have done it.
Alright folks, before we get into the video, I want to ask you to please sub to the channel and turn on notifications if you haven't done it yet, because it really does help. Okay, so if you know anything about Valorant, you know that Yoru has been one of the worst characters in the game since he came out. Everyone agreed Yoru looked cool, but when it came to actually winning games, nobody really ever figured out how to get the most out of his kit.
This team, that duo, specifically always has the most percentage of their team's kills. By
oh my goodness, he read him like a book.
Compared to every other duelist, Yoru always seemed underwhelming. Even now, months after getting fully reworked by Riot, barely anyone plays him. His kit allows you to toy with your enemies and occasionally pull off some nice outplays in matchmaking, but that doesn't quite cut it in pro play.
There's the ultimate there, chasing him down.
So, what? Oh, just tried to follow up there. Yampy's gonna punish him. He dips out again. He finds the third, Mitch. What is this round?
What a way to close it, man.
Plenty of other agents have better flashes than Yoru. And when it comes to making space as an entry fragger, or even just taking map control on defense, there are much more reliable options for that as well. So after failing to make an impact in the pro meta, it seemed like Yoru would remain stuck as a useless agent that nobody ever picked. But at VCT Masters Reykjavik 2022, one team decided to give Yoru a chance. Paper Rex are arguably one of the weirdest teams in the global Valorant scene because they do a lot of stuff that's out of the ordinary.
I didn't really want to be like one of those boring teams that just come out looking all serious, you know. I just want to lighten up the atmosphere. And I mean, if you can't be remembered as like the best team, you might as well be remembered as the funniest, right?
Can I have that cap production?
Okay, let's see how fast he can peel this off. Go.
It's a whole process. We need to be timing him. Yeah.
How does he take? Doesn't he have a belt? Oh, he doesn't care about the belt.
That ain't going well. Yeah.
Okay, he does.
I love it.
Bankai, the team's leader, is most famous for showing up to every international match in a different wacky costume, but the other thing he's known for is his love for weird team comps. Hell, this guy ran Phoenix, another failure of an agent, on Breeze, his absolute worst map, and somehow made it work.
But same goal for Jensen to try to equalize the scoreline to ensure they have the full benefit. Spike comes down and the fire dust scorches and burn Edward.
In the back there, Edward coming through as Bankai does get one out of the way. Jensen gonna be respecting that and he's gonna go down as well. Bankai, how did you do that? Isolating the members and got so much value out of it. By playing the corner here might be good for one. Here comes one that we talked about. Javai gets two, will it be three? Not quite as he repositions himself. Right now he's stuck. Where are you going? Gets sniped! And that fight ends it beautifully.
Luckily for Bankai, he has an amazing supporting cast of talented players who he knows will always pop off, no matter how crazy his comps get. But for our purposes, the most important one of those players is Forsaken. And no, not that Forsaken, although both players did come from CSGO, The Forsaken on Paper Rex is one of the nastiest duelist players in Valorant today.
And Benkai in the meantime did find Izzy, so now we're going to see Forsaken ready and waiting ahead of the curve. Oh, interesting. Okay, drop down first in, no trade, nothing. It was just Izzy left to rot. Just what? What is this for a retake? No trades, no timing, no spacing. Forsaken will lap that up every day of the week.
If there was anybody who could make Yoru work at the highest level of play, it was Forsaken. Paper Rex traveled to Iceland as the #1 seed from APAC, and as the #1 team, they also secured themselves a group stage bye. And since they were placed directly into the playoffs, they got to hide a lot of their strats and team comps from the competition, which was good because they had a trick up their sleeve. After they opened their Masters campaign by defeating DRX on map 1, the series moved to Bind, which is where Paper Rex decided to bust out Forsaken's Yoru. Now, that might have seemed like an insane pick. After all, Yoru was the worst agent in the game at the time. But if there's one map where his gimmicks actually work, it's Bind.
Just throwing footsteps to the hookah TP every single round, making them always guess, oh, is this guy here or not? You basically lock down hookah. Like, you make that so hard, so scary for the enemy team. Doing little stuff like that and having little one-way flashes and knowing how to catch people off guard.
I think especially on map bind, they have like two teleport. I think it worked well in bind because especially the Yoru decoy, you can make a lot of gameplay with the fake decoy. Like for example, you can do like a fake decoy to TP, make them like confused.
Throughout APAC Stage 1, Forsaken busted out Yoru on Bind a few times to decent success. Still, the agent had a track record of never winning at an international LAN on any map, no matter who ran him. And so, despite all of Forsaken's incredible skill, DRX dumped Yoru right back in the trash can Paper Rex found him in.
Forsaken still just trying to sneak his way, trying to ruin the day on Stacks, but he will land the headshot in the end, a round that never should have been.
Mako in trouble, he ends up falling for the decoy. Forsaken! That was huge misread.
I don't think he spotted him. I think Marco managed to dodge within the tube, and because of that, it's all fallen apart.
It seems like the Yoru game at that time has been read by the DRX. So like my movement, my gameplay, and my playstyle, it seems like they read us like a book, you know. So I think we lost because they just better with the counter strategy.
As PRX's lower bracket run began, their next opponent, the Guard, made the smart decision to ban Bind. But even without their niche pick, Paper Rex managed to send NA's #1 seed home to earn their first ever international win and set up a match against G2 in the next round. And G2 made one fatal error during map vetoes. Unlike the Guard, G2 left Bind in the map pool. In fact, they picked it themselves. G2 actually had a solid win rate on Bind, so the pick made sense. But they weren't prepared for Forsaken's Yoru.
Jing and Meadow, we expected this.
There we
yeah,
go.
Here we
There we
go again. Yoru is back in. The only person, Bala, that's played Yoru this whole tournament.
Yeah, and in any Masters tournament except all the way back in Reykjavik.
After dumpstering G2 on Split with Jet, Forsaken pivoted to Yoru on Bind and got to work. From the very start, Forsaken made use of Yoru's mind-gamey fake-out and gate crash abilities to keep G2 guessing. Sometimes he'd used them to regroup with the rest of his team, while other times he'd manage to get behind enemy lines and catch his opponents off guard. And once his ult came online, Forsaken was able to gather plenty of info to help Paper Rex execute onto the site.
Did from Nuki to see space, but time is such an issue. The player on the other side catching him first, 3-1 for Paper Rex.
Paper Rex were constantly able to capitalize off the space that Forsaken was taking with Yoru's utility. So even when he wasn't necessarily getting frags, Forsaken was still able to have a huge impact on the game by setting up his teammates. G2 had no answer to any of it. Forsaken was doing something different almost every round, and since Yoru isn't typically picked in pro play, G2 had no idea how to deal with him.
They seem to expect about our playstyle, but I don't think they knew about Paper's strategy or tactic like the utility combo. So it's easy for us to get the bomb site and play around with my teleport Yoru skill.
And once Forsaken started really hitting heads, G2 were in trouble.
Control sending out his decoy to seize a bit of space to distract these players, maybe feed them the information as well. You're not going to attempt the TP. Okay, good. He fakes the TP. That's actually going to cause a bit of a problem. They've got to now be worried about him already being in the spawn. Selling the fake information. This is, I mean, we're already starting to see the value from Yoru that we didn't last time.
Forsaken consistently made perfect use of his utility to keep his opponents on their toes. Not only was he fragging out, but he also forced G2 to waste a lot of time checking whether his teleports were real or fake. G2 answered back with a few rounds of their own, but it didn't take long for Forsaken to start tricking them again.
Means death, and a judge up close on the other side, which means death. He chose death. Not surprising considering the options, and Forsaken has just traded out his own decoy. Meadow gets the headshot on the wrong one. That operator now ready to take them down. The shot's missed though. A lifeline perhaps, and they've caught him on the way out. The flash is perfect. Paper X set to pick up an 8, closing out this half in incredibly dominant fashion. And even look at that, the TP off the ult into spawn. They know that he's not coming from here. And oh, there he is. Yoru just comes sprinting through and goes, yeah, he's coming out of hookah. Yep, free kill, nice and easy. 8-4, 8. Honestly, this is a devastating half for G2. It's their map pick, Tom.
Yeah, well, it's the elimination map, so it could be all over fairly soon. They might be eliminated by a Yoru.
G2 won the pistol round and converted the anti-eco, but it didn't matter. Forsaken was ready to send them home. Every time G2 thought they had him, Forsaken used Yoru's kit to escape. And even when G2 did find themselves actually face-to-face with him, they didn't fare much better.
The decoy was popped and they shot it. They know that they're coming. Forsaken with another kill, and Bankai tucked in the corner. How does Forsaken get away with that? He was so low, and a third is found as well. That's utterly unreasonable.
Forsaken took full control of the game. He was popping heads left and right, and the one time G2 actually managed to get the bomb down, he showed them just how good Yoru's ult is for retakes.
Here's the steps, the flash is hell. Oh, Meadow gets away with the first. Forsaken has to take him down, and he does.
G2 called a timeout to try to stop the bleeding, and they managed to pick up the following round, but Forsaken made sure it cost them. He kept racking up kills, and Europe's so-called #1 team just didn't have an answer.
Seekers confirming the players are still in here. Mind Freaks picked up another. This is starting to look like it's done. How has Evolva gotten away with that? But the answer is immediate. Meadow, the last man standing's taken down, and APAC have done it.
Paper Rex did the impossible. Not only did they take down G2 to guarantee a top 4 finish in Reykjavik, but they did it with Yoru. Forsaken dominated the entire series, but Bind was the standout. He finished the map with a server-high 29 kills and 371 ACS. It was one of the greatest performances Valorant has ever seen on LAN, and he pulled it off with one of the game's most hopeless picks. Which goes to show that without teams like PRX, Valorant wouldn't be nearly as interesting to watch. Every esport needs teams like them. Teams that are willing to break the meta or even try to reshape it themselves.
I felt really happy and proud of myself and also my team, of course. Personally, with Yoru, I think like you have to be like creative and you have to be brave with that agent, because with the teleport gameplay, it really helps you to make a play. So if you like know how to use that agent better, surely I think many teams will be like tired against Yoru, I think.
Forsaken's triumph was the first time Yoru ever won on an international stage. And everyone who was watching that day will remember Forsaken and Paper Rex for being the first ones to prove that in the right hands, any agent can be viable. Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, then hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.